Nisha the Voice coming in for another edition of Industry Conversations One-on-One. Live with me tonight, health coach, entrepreneur, the owner of Mr. Bam Strong, Jamaius White. Welcome to the show, hon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So I'm so excited to have you on the show tonight because you're the very first person to come on the show to talk about fitness. Because,
Okay.
however, during this pandemic, we have so many things that has taken place. In regards to everyone wants to get on their fit journey. TikTok, a lot of people on TikTok are
Correct.
pretty much providing all these gimmicks and things like that for people to become fit. So,
hmm
tell me how you have survived this pandemic.
Um, Staying in an adaptive mind state, honestly.
Gotcha.
Um, just watching what's out there and seeing what people are responding to. Um, you know, Understanding the information that I know and
Right.
finding creative ways to get that information out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's
Yeah.
pretty much how I've been surviving the pandemic.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I know that you've accomplished so much in your journey. I had the opportunity to, read your bio, take a look at all of your videos. You've done a lot of
Okay.
things, a lot of wonderful things, and you
Thank you.
have, basically, you have a compelling story that needs to be told because there's a lot of individuals such as yourself, who's an entrepreneur that are on this fitness journey and training individuals and things of that nature. I really feel that your story is one to be told. But
Right.
I want to know that how do you find your purpose or your calling to guide individuals to become healthy?
Um, uh, that's a interesting question for sure. Um, I think just through figuring it out. I've always been a person trying to figure it out. Like I didn't always know what I was doing or why I was doing it.
Uh-huh.
Listening to just the variation of things out there, whether it be the advice that the people that I look to for advice would tell me to go get a job here, go do this, go do that. As far as what they felt that I should be doing at that present time, versus what I felt like I should have been doing um, at that time. And I think everything kind of clicked or found in alignment after my car accident in 2013.
Mm,
So that's where like the shift that you're speaking of kind of came. Like I think it was something that was there,
mm-hmm.
and it was just like a bunch of unorganized stuff on a table, and then the accident came and kind of shook everything up and kind of placed everything in perspective and its correct line.
Right. I think, things like that happen, where God placed things into your life or things happen in your life for a reason to guide you on that correct path.
Right.
And, just as you stated, which I want to talk about that in a minute, but, you have, I've seen your videos. You're tough. Okay.
Oh
You are, yeah. I mean, you're brutal. Okay. Like I have seen your Instagram. I've seen some of your sessions, and yeah, being with a trainer who actually, push you to, to be your best self, especially when you're in a gym, because, every year you hear, oh, I want to become fit. I want to become, and I know that you probably hear this all the time. You probably hear it all the time
hmm
where people call you every first of the year and say, okay, hey, I want to start training, right?
Correct.
So and they want a program, they want to start on their fitness journey. So, and I know with all of that, everything has been going on. So how do you keep your clients motivated? Because I saw some of your videos, and when they're slacking, like you're on them like white on rice, it's like, okay, you need to put your hands inside your side, you need to keep going, so I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
like you are definitely keeping your clients, motivated while they're in the gym. But to keep them on that right path, like, do you have check-ins with your clients? How do you keep them motivated throughout that process?
Accountability. Honestly, that's the system, if you were to ask what system that I use to keep them moving forward, it's accountability. Just as much as they expect of me, because they're, at the end of the day paying for a service. The reasons always stem to something deeper as to why they came in the first place. So one of my goals is to keep them as connected to that initial reason for being here as much as possible, while shifting their head into like a 180 direction to show them the future that's there, right? Because you
Gotcha.
can't technically see it until you're there or
Mm-hmm.
past it already. So um I try to present myself in a way to where, one, I'm totally honest with them. That always lasts a lot longer than just aiming to get financial support from them.
Gotcha.
Because just as much as they need me, I need them to stay in the business and to handle the personal things that I need to handle. Because it's, at the end of the day, it's still a job, right?
Mm,
But the fun part of it is when they begin to realize, that's my goal, is to keep them attached to that beginning, of why you're here. Like, let's not get tricked out of the position of why we're here. Let's understand what it is that we're going through in these moments, the pain,
mm-hmm.
the disappointment of not reaching a goal, the whatever adverse thing that could come from, being within the fitness lifestyle, or, living, just in a healthier lifestyle, making these sacrifices, these choices, you know, showing the behind the scenes version of it. So they get an inside scoop, So I make sure that I, put that accountability in play, because if they're successful, it's 100%, their fault. If they're not successful, I want it to be 100% my fault, but they have to do 100% of what I say in order for that to happen.
Right, right. And I see that in the videos because it's like you said, accountability, I think is one of the main things, especially when you're training, because you have so many people that are disappointed when they cannot reach that specific goal, just as you stated. Like, when you
Mm-hmm.
can't, when you are striving for a goal, or say if someone come to you and say, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds, right?
Right,
And if they say, "Hey, I want to lose 10 pounds," and you give them the regimen, they're coming. But then when they leave the gym, they're doing something totally different. And I know, like you probably have experienced that, where they may go home and may eat whatever, and at the
right,
same time, your diet is just as important as being in the gym. And I think a lot of people kind of don't really understand that as well, because especially like even if you're working out, your meal plans and things like that have to be on target as well. And
right.
you have some people that come to the gym and think, well, I'm just working out, I can just go home and I can just eat whatever. And I know
Well,
you
yeah,
probably have clients like
yeah.
that. The client,
No, definitely, for sure, for sure. And when that happens, that's where the accountability piece comes in. I'm very, if you ask anybody that works with me, I'm very, I don't want to say anal, but I'm a I told you so person in that world. Like,
oh
see, I mean,
wow,
like, I make sure that you understand why you aren't reaching that goal. Because if it's your fault, I'm gonna tell you it's your fault. Just as much as if it's
right,
my fault, I'm gonna tell myself, or they would love to tell me, and it helps, because when I'm wrong, oh, they love to eat that up. Like, it's like
really,
it's like they catch the teacher wrong. Like, the student got
right,
one up on the teacher, and
right,
they enjoy it, and whether, even if they're like only 30% right, they
mm,
love it, and
yeah,
I feed off of it, because i'm I'm human, so
yeah,
there's room for error and stuff like that. But in certain cases, just as much as I am human, I'm also, upfront with myself. I'm also honest with myself. If I'm not achieving these goals that I have set, and first is the understanding what the goal is,
mm-hmm,
because some people, a lot of people go into the world of fitness and thinking it's one thing, or it takes this thing to get whatever that goal is. And when they get into it, it's like, wait a minute, I don't recognize this room. Why am I in this room? I was supposed to be in that room over there where they're doing that, you
right,
know. And the idea of what it takes to get to where they're trying to be is always something that's misguided. Like it's
Gotcha.
misunderstood. So when it comes to the eating regimen, like the gym piece of it is like the candle on a cake, right? Like so, if we get the anatomy of a cake, the nutrition piece of it is the most important part. Like when I'm speaking with clients when I first meet them, I rarely talk about the gym because that's easy. You know, the the hardest part is training people who've been training before, right? Because they have to unlearn and unpack all of these things that they've been doing for years. Like someone could say they've been working out for 10 years and they can be working out for 10 years perfectly wrong, right? It's not about the amount of time that you put in, because you can put in the time in the wrong direction. Now we got to go revisit the past 10 years and correct this stuff. And then a lot of people come across that issue. Now it's like, man, I thought I was going to be reaching this. I thought when we have to cover the basics first. So
Right.
on the food side of it, if we're talking about the fitness piece of it, I'm like I said, I'm 100% honest with them.
Mm.
If they come and say, "Man, I ain't lose no weight," I totally understand why you did. I think you do
Right.
too. If you don't want to
Right.
be honest with yourself, I don't mind telling the client, you know, that you're not gonna lose no weight. You're
Yeah.
probably gonna gain everything back, or you're gonna be, um, I'm very honest. I'll say that. You
Yeah.
have to be. I won't, put it in their business out there, but like for the ones that know, and it takes time. Like they come to me, I tell them that it takes time. Yeah, you need time, you need patience and consistency. You don't have to be a spot on 100% of the time, but you want to be in the plus more than in the negative. You know,
Gotcha. Yeah.
because we have goals and we're not trying to waste time, and I don't want people wasting their money because I take it,
Right.
but I just as much as I take it, I stop helping you if I see that there's no room for benefit. You know,
Right, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And I mean, as I said earlier, there are a lot of things out there that everyone is pretty much trying. Right
right?
now, everyone they're trying Herbalife, they're trying Nutrisystem. A lot of people are trying the shakes, the teas, they have different
Correct.
types of things like that. So, what would be some of the things that a new client, if they came to you and they really wanted to, they were really motivated to lose weight, what were some of the things that you would actually tell them on the first visit that they would come to see you?
On the as far as like the supplement side, like
Uh-huh.
suggestions for supplements and stuff. Honestly, it would be in the scope of you want to do what's sustainable at first and foremost.
Mm.
If it's not sustainable, then I totally opt against it. Outside of that, I used to sell Herbalife. So I it when used in the correct manner, it
Gotcha.
works, right?
Hmm.
A lot of the systems that people tend to follow, they only receive maybe 40% of the information regarding and what it
Mm.
takes. So they put 100%. Like that's like me saying, "Hey, all the viewers, if you drink this water, it is guaranteed that you will be 100% healthy and your pH balance will be fine."
Right.
When that's not true. There are other factors that go into that, and factors that people overlook. So with any of these systems, you always want to pick something that you can stick with long term, not something that is going to be good for a few days and then you're wondering why it's not working. Like you want to work with something that's going to help you,
Right.
long term, continuous, not just something that, all right, I lost a lot of weight or I gained, a lot of weight because of this particular thing, right? It's
Mm.
not those, it's because it's a lot of misunderstood type information. So like the best thing I could say without giving up too much
Yeah.
um, is that you want to find something that's sustainable.
Hmm.
Do your full research for yourself, not just word of mouth and what hearsay and stuff like that. Even when it comes to picking a trainer and stuff like that,
Right.
you want to work with somebody who's knowledgeable, someone who's credible, of course, and you know a lot of times the proof is in the pudding, but you also want to look at the track record. Because I'm sure if you ask some people out there, I'm not the best trainer that they had, which is totally fine. We just didn't mesh well. That's like
Right.
saying like somebody doesn't like this particular shoe, but
Hmm.
it looks better on this particular person, right? Because of their
Right.
personality and because of whatever other circumstances. But when it comes to like those supplements and stuff, I'm not opposed to any of them,
Mm.
as long as there's something that you can do long term, something that's sustainable for you. And a lot of the times, the way people use them aren't in a sustainable method.
You're exactly right, because as you stated, like there's so many things out there, so many things right now on social media that people are utilizing, and yeah, they lose all this weight, and
Right,
people adapting them up because it's an easier way to lose weight instead of actually something that where they have to work hard for. The,
correct,
the times and the times that we live in, I think right now everybody's looking for the quick way to lose weight instead of just basically doing the hard work. So,
right,
just as you stated, you see a lot where if it's used correctly, yes, it works, and if it's not, then people they won't really see the results that they're looking for, and then that's when you see the
right,
bad reviews that's out there on Google that everybody see. That's like
right.
this
Yeah,
stuff. It's a gimmick, it doesn't work. But like you said, if you actually
yeah,
utilize it correctly, then you'll see the results.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely
And,
good stuff, good stuff. But I want to move into the BAM story. Understand you're from Columbia, South Carolina. You
correct.
also
Yes.
went
Born and
to
raised.
SC State, so
Yes. Yes, I did.
a part of the Bongo Brothers.
I am. I
So
don't know how you found
yeah,
that out,
so
but I am.
yeah, so
Yes.
I've always loved marching 101. I'm from Marlboro County, so
Okay. Okay.
I did march in high school, and we had the opportunity. Actually, our band director is
What are
from
y'all colors? I didn't mean to cut you off. What's Marlboro colors? It's like
Black and
not black and
Gold.
gold.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Boom. Okay. So yes,
Yeah.
I am familiar with you guys. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Now Dillon County have almost the same, right?
Yep.
So
My best
Dillon
friend
is,
marched at Dillon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So of course Dillon and Marlboro are rivals. But of course, all of us end up going to SC State. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
SC
Of
State was
course.
the band. Yeah, SC State was the band to for I guess for everyone in that area to mimic. So we
Right.
would always in high school we always had the pleasure of basically viewing SC State, and the Marching
Correct.
101, awesome band, awesome drum line as well. So, and for you
Thank
to
you.
be
Thank you.
musically inclined, I mean, that's wonderful. Also, I heard the Nina Simone in the background, so yeah, your stuff. So
Yeah,
and
man. Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
did some
So
digging.
yeah, so basically, like, I understand, like, during that time, you really had the opportunity to explore the entertainment side in Colombia. I had the pleasure
Right.
of, being able to, come to Colombia a couple times, and that music scene there, that entertainment scene, the parties, it was ridiculous. Like, it's crazy. It's almost incomparable to Charlotte. At one point in time, when
Mm-hmm.
they would have parties, when they would have events, when people would come into Colombia, you had some big names that would actually be coming into Colombia and throwing parties and
Correct.
things there.
Correct.
And during that time, I know that's a part of your Bam story, and I understand that you got the name Bam Bam from being a part of the Bongo Brothers. So tell me about that experience.
Um, since I was like in seventh grade, I had my mind made up. That was the first big decision I ever made. And stuck with it. I think that is the show. Me being a Bongo Brother is a show of commitment. My first
Mm,
time and didn't know that that was a show of commitment. So, I seen them. I fell in love with them. I'm one of those people. It doesn't take me a lot of views or a lot of different, entities to know that, oh, okay, I connect with this. Especially it was at a time when there was a huge uh, void, to feel for me as far as a kid that's just trying to figure out, what do you want to do next? I
mm,
didn't, at that point, I tried every sport, basketball, football, baseball. Um, and they didn't really entertain me in the way that I wanted. So I ended up going to a parade, and I liked the way the snare drum sound as a kid. I was like, yo, I want to hit one of those things, and I got my hands on one and never turned back. Shout out to King Street, South Carolina. That's where my introduction came
Mhm.
to the marching band down there under Fred Fulton at the Marching Jaguars.
Mhm.
Well, first Pam Burgess, then Fred Fulton. I marched there, uh, or I marched in eighth grade, ninth grade, and well, I did 2 years there. 2 years there, moved to Columbia, moved back to Columbia. Um, Went to Keenan under Willie Eli House.
Okay.
The last class graduated from Pine Belt location before they
Mhm.
relocated to the northeast side of Columbia. They There is when not my love for it increased times 12. One, because it became more
Mm.
challenging because of the push to read music more, because I
Yeah.
really didn't read it like that when I was at King Street.
Mhm.
Um, then get to Kenan, being switched around on different, percussion instruments, it forced my hand,
Yeah.
to break the what I was normally used to. And then from there, again, every year from seventh grade up until my 12th grade year, I was going to South Carolina State University homecoming. I could tell you literally every type of energy that was at homecoming from 2002 all the way up until, last year, well, the year prior
Yeah.
to last, 2019. So that's a long time, really a
Mhm.
long time to be there, to be consistent, like for that many years.
Right.
So I've been there through a lot of changes. Like it's over a decade of you know changes
Yeah.
right there that
It's been
I've
it's been a
witnessed.
lot of
So
changes at NC State. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like
Definitely.
I grew with them, like but that was literally my first love, my only love within the musical world, like to the point to where after I became a mom, I was like, yo, what do I gotta finish college now? Like, what is this about? Like, why do I have to do this? Give me something else to focus on. Because I was
Yeah.
focused on that for so long.
Yeah, and like the drum line, I'm just gonna be honest with you. The drum line is always the bad boys of the band. Always have been. They were always the
Correct.
ones that were always like they were always rebellious. They were always getting in trouble about something. It was either something that like
Yeah.
they wanted to do. So it was always like the
Well,
bad boys of the band.
it I would identify it as being needing a challenge every now and then.
Yeah, uh-huh.
We didn't take as long as everybody else to
No.
gather the musical
Mm-mm.
information. Then so once you have that, it's like, all right, what do we do now?
Right.
We need something to do. Just so happens
Exactly.
majority of that stuff led to us doing
Exactly.
push-ups and running and stuff.
Well,
But
and that's pretty much what it was because for us, if the drum line did something wrong, and even half the time, because I was a woodwind, so we were normally playing, everybody was playing, and then everybody the drum line would be on the sideline because we had to make sure we got everything right, and then the drum line can come in and we can go over the whole show. But if they were doing
yeah,
something wrong, we all were either push ups or either we were running because of something that they did wrong. So it
well,
was, it was fun. Yeah,
we're
it was a fun
motivated.
time. Always a fun time. Yeah.
We're very motivated. We just wanted everybody to be in shape like us, and
Uh-huh.
be physically inclined or enthused. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where it came from.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So 2013, you were in a tragic accident that really,
Correct.
kind of shifted and changed your perspective and kind of in some ways birthed Bam Strong.
Right.
So, with that, that tragic accident, and I can identify with going through a tragedy such as that. Mine was on the other
Mm-hmm.
side as yours, but the thing is that your accident, your story of how it all happened and where it changed your life, and you decided that, hey, I'm gonna go in a different direction. So I think
Right.
that is, like I said before, it's a story to be told because you have a lot of youth that are probably going through the same thing that you were going through at that particular time that probably need to hear that story. And
Yeah.
seeing those pictures and seeing the vehicle and how you came through that, that's why I ask you, your calling, your purpose, for doing what you're doing now. So how
Right.
has that changed you along the way?
Um, that I changed the narrative. Like at that moment, I found reason. Right. You would think
Hmm.
that because up until that time, I had my daughter. That was my first child. That would have been like the thing to
Yeah.
make it click. But um, nothing gets your attention like being that close to death. Right.
Hmm.
Um, I often say in conversation that that's the closest I ever want to come to it without actually meeting it. Simply because it's like that was you know, a difficult time for me.
Yeah.
Not more mentally than anything, because again, it forced my hand to, like when I transitioned from King Street to Keenan, forced my
Hmm.
hand to learn different things, to adapt to what was changing and happening around me, understanding that some things had to change and I didn't really know where to start, So from there I started, placing identity on some things that I wanted to do. And again, just trying stuff out. Like I was one of the people, in the words of, Cat Williams, just trying stuff, trying it don't work, try something else, So,
Right.
um,
Right.
and that's pretty much where the phase was. So, get in the car accident. I moved to Atlanta. I stopped throwing parties. I get into school. Um, I do that. I wasn't that successful in grad school at that particular level because it was in a direction that I really ultimately didn't want to go, which is ironically crazy now because it's like I'm turning back into that, you know.
Uh-huh.
Um, but my life is like this. It's up and down. It's like one of those, equinox. What is it called? The equalizer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Equalize.
just EQing. I'm EQing. So right now it's just like an EQ thing. It's up,
Hmm.
down, and just until we figure out the right sound and the right texture of
Right.
what we should be doing. And I think right now I'm definitely in that wave because I feel like now I'm in another transition of
Hmm.
things with the birth of like my nonprofit.
Hmm.
The Bam Strong fitness brand has been very fulfilling to me, right?
Right.
And even with the clothes and everything that we do as an extension of the Bam Strong Fitness arena, whether it be going to speak with kids, to now we have the Bam Strong Project. That's something
Hmm.
totally different. Like it takes on its own life, and it's like literally some of the dopest things that I'm going to do. Like if you thought I did some really dope stuff before, it's like now we're going to really be tapping in and doing some great things with that because it
Right.
totally separates, like ultimately by thought, people would think that it's, oh, this is an extension of like the Bam Strong fitness, stuff, but it has a total different identity. And it just speaks to that transition to where we are, like from that 2013 time to 2021, just
Right.
watching, the growth or the evolution of just the constant learning, right? Because again, I'm still in that
Hmm.
phase where you figuring it out, um, of how to do what and when to do it. I think one of the biggest lessons, if you would ask me what I learned from 2013 to now, my biggest lesson has been I can't do anything by myself. I can't do anything alone,
Mm.
right? So
Right.
ultimately, all of the growth that people see, or they have to revisit because they meet me in certain spaces. So you
Hmm.
have to revisit it and look at the growth that I've had, over the years. Like if you know me as the Bam Bam from South Carolina State University versus the Bam of the nightlife era versus the Bam Strong of the fitness era versus Jamaius White of the
Yeah.
Bam Strong Project, they're all different versions of this one person, and which I'm totally comfortable with at this point. And it's one of those things where I'm thankful, right? I've
Yeah.
learned to be appreciative of where I'm at in the present moment and understanding that it's bigger than me. Like it's
Mm.
that's the reason, now that I'm branching off to do other things because it's bigger than me. The
Right.
fitness thing was always my, you know, my love of service, right?
Mm,
Someone told me yesterday, we were speaking, and they were talking about staying in service, and I was like, my whole life has been service, like
yeah.
I had very little selfish moments, and in the times that I did, I can pinpoint the bad that happened, right? Like if you
Right.
look at my list of you know tragic bad things that we prefer not to talk about or whatever,
Hmm.
they came from me having a split second of like selfishness. And then, that transition to uh, the person that I am, that's so loving, that's so giving, because I've experienced coming that close. Like I'd never not want to be there for people. So I'm that person where even if it hurts me, I still do for others, right?
Right. Right.
And learning like now that has to be altered and changed and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good stuff, good stuff. And I know, being in, like you said, being of service, it's not always easy. It has its perks, and then at the
Hmm.
same time, like you said, sometimes you realize that certain things do have to change. With the narrative does have to change. And like you
Correct.
said, when you know that it's bigger than you, at the end of the day, now you're exploring into different territory. So now
Right.
it's like you're expanding your brand, and I think that's a great thing because, like I said, before the interview, it's like I'm like, wow. I mean, you have a compelling story. Like a lot of youth really, really, really need to hear it because you have so many kids that are venturing out into things, and a lot of them right now really want to be entrepreneurs. And to see
Correct.
a success story, from someone who can really stand and say, "Hey, I didn't make it in this time frame, but I'm actually doing it
Right.
now. I found my purpose, and it takes time, to literally, find your purpose.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't come overnight. So the fact that someone can actually stand in their truth and say, hey, it didn't happen overnight for me, but I'm doing it now. I'm living it now. So I think that's awesome. But before I let you go, please
Hmm.
tell everyone where they can, obtain your Bam Strong because I know that you got more merchandise coming. So where can they
Listen.
get the Bam Strong shirts? Where can they
Okay.
reach you
First,
on
let me
social
say
media?
this. Let me say this first, because when it comes to the merchandise, I ask people to treat me like Phil Knight. Like you're not going to walk up to him and say, "Hey, let me get that shirt." Simply because I have two arms,
Yeah.
two hands. I carry a lot of stuff around all the time as it is. So specifically when it comes to the merch, it's on the website, people. That's why I created it. Like I tell all of my friends, like I tell everybody through social media, the best way to get any of that information is to go to iambamstrong.com and go to the shop center shop. That's where stuff is. Majority of my merch never stays there long at all, so just literally go get it. Like right now, the new merch that's out there, I urge people to go get it and you know uh, continue to shop because there's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that's on there. But as far as the other places that they can reach me, my business page for the fitness and merch is I am Bam Strong at IG, and also Bam Strong Fitness on Facebook. If you all would like to follow and support the nonprofit organization, you can also follow them at the Bam Strong Project on IG, also the Bam Strong Project on Facebook. And you can visit the BamStrong.org, the Bam Strong Project, .org website for all of the other information that's coming up with the nonprofit. We have some cool things that we're going to roll out, and it's gonna be super awesome. So
Yeah.
like I said, that's my next wave. If you want to know what's next for me in the years to come, the Bam Strong Project is uh, the new baby, right?
Yeah.
That's the new birth child under the umbrella of BAM. Jamaius White, Bam Bam, whatever you know call me. That's the next chapter. The Bam
Yeah.
Strong Project, our nonprofit organization. And so, all of you that are watching this, please tap in with us because we are going to need your help in the near future to get access to these young people who will need us. We
Mm,
have, I think, a lot of services that they could benefit from, and we just want to help in whatever way we can um, to help the next kid that want to do, whatever it is they want to do, from being an entrepreneur to, having their own company to doing trading, like whatever the next kid that want to go to school, the kid that want to get into the military, next kid that want to be, you know, a lawyer, whatever the case may be. We have access to all of this information and we just want to share it with them. And everybody that's watching, we need you guys' help to do it. If you contact us, however, we just said, and shout out to Marissa. She's super awesome. She would
yes.
definitely be champion. You can contact her as well. She would be helping us and getting us to some different heights that we need to be at. So, yeah, that's how you can
Definitely.
contact us. You can.
Yes, definitely shouts out to Soror Marissa. Love you, baby. Also shouts out to Preston Magazine, also Ben the Promoter. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring Industry Conversations 101. And much success to you on the BAM Strong project. I know it's gonna be great. And like I said, I think so many you can benefit from this as well because I swear it's just I see so many youth that go in the wrong direction and this project, the Bam Strong project, will definitely help them, especially guide them in the right direction, provide them that platform that they need or provide them that information to help them be the next entrepreneur, the next lawyers, the next doctors that they need to be. So I'm very excited, definitely about that as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and
And I
thank you
thank
so
you, and
much
I
for coming.
appreciate you for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah, of
Yes.
course. But thank you for agreeing to come on the show. I know
Hey,
you are a busy guy, but thank you so much for coming on the show, and it was a pleasure to speak with you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you guys visit I Am Bam Strong as well. Shop the merchandise and look forward to the Bam Strong project in your areas. I am Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice, signing off for Industry Conversations 101. Good night, you guys.